So today we're going to continue with the staff going into the last two sections of Kuo Lien Ying's staff form. This would be, we'll call it, label it, section 4, right after the repeat section that we just learned in the last lesson. I'm teaching these video lessons as I have time, not necessarily how fast I think the students should progress, because I'm basically building a library of Kuo Lien Ying's forums, and these are going to be reference videos so that students can go and learn from them at their own pace. So don't take how fast I present these or how slow I present these as the pace at which you need to learn, because everybody learns at their own pace. So these are just going to be lesson videos. So we'll take it from the last linking move that we learned in after the repeat section, and we'll start from there. So we'll be facing in this direction so this would be that repeat of that linking with that last change of the move on the last strike. The block. Remember, we came overhead and ended up in this position here. So from here. So you should be in this position for the beginning of this lesson. So you're going to step back behind with a deflecting block and then strike on the diagonal about 45 degrees. We'll be facing 12 o'clock in this lesson. So 45, so you end up in an open strike. When I say open, not like chicken wing, but hands down, like this. So again, from the overhead strike, step behind with the deflecting block, and then strike down 45 degrees. And one more time, from this underarm overhead strike, step behind, deflecting block, and open strike on a 45 degree. And then one more time a little faster. From here, here. So in this next move, it's actually a repeat of this first move, and I'll be facing backwards. Just remember, open position, the hand will be down by your hip. So you're going to like turn the foot in 180 degrees and face 180 degrees in the opposite direction with an overhead strike going into the 45 degree, like that. We'll take it one more time from the beginning. Here, step behind deflecting block, 45 degree open strike on a diagonal. Turn, and it's going to be overhead diagonal here. From here, you step behind, just like you did on the first move, and open strike on a diagonal. So these are all going 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock line. So the overhead strike, and from here, you don't have to really do any sliding. You can do the deflecting block and then the open strike. Here you'll have to slide and then overhead strike on a diagonal, step behind, diagonal open strike. Okay, do it again slow one more time. When the overhead under the arm horizontal strike facing 12 o'clock, where we ended up, step behind deflecting block, 45 degree open strike, 180 degree turn, overhead strike, deflecting block, open strike on a diagonal. So this time we'll do it at the normal pace. So the way it's linked is these two step behind is one continuous flow. And then over like that. So again, a little bit more at full speed from here. So these should be pretty simple because you already should know this move. And that move is from when we did the low sweep, except in this first variation, we did it on the line. And this one will be now on the 45. It's important when you're learning any kind of moves or patterns in Kung Fu that you're able to relate it to earlier things that you learned that are very similar and just the nuances of changes. That's the easier way to learn it than to try to learn it from scratch every time that you come to something new. So when you look at a new move or any kind of move that you're trying to like study or learn, it's important that you go back to your basics and kind of have a repertoire or inventory of moves that you can kind of pick from and say, oh, that's really similar to this other move that I learned, and just be able to change that. That is the difference between going from the rote learning, where you're kind of fixed into a pattern, and conceptual, where you now start to understand movement as basics. So again, on that here, where you're stepping here, and here, where you're stepping here, they're very, very similar. And so the faster you can see similarities, the faster your progress will be in your development of your Kung Fu practice. So, okay, one more time and then we'll go one more move to the end of this section. So the overhead strike, step behind, diagonal strike, open, open move here. And then overhead, step behind, here. Okay, I'm gonna do it one more time and give myself a little more space. Here, here. Okay, from here, again, position is just the same as the first one. Okay, I know it's like because my back is to you, you can't see as clear. So here, here. So from here, you're just going to go straight overhead on the 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock line, and it's an overhead strike on the arm, just like we began. But this time you're kind of in an upright cat stance, right? So again, recognizing the pattern of the movement, you should be familiar with this because as we came out of the walk, we did this exact same overhead strike. And then on this linking here, we did the same overhead strike, front facing horse, and the strike 90 degrees to your horse. So here, from the open strike, you're just gonna come into a kind of a front facing cat and open the underarm strike here. So it's actually the same strike. You have 3 different stances that you're doing it in. So again, taken as a whole from the linking. Okay, so we're going to start from here. Step behind deflecting block, diagonal open strike. Overhead, and then overhead into the underarm strike. Okay, one more time. From here, so that at the end of this little section here. And again, as I said in the last lesson, if you think of these not as one separate move after another, but the way that they're linked together then it's gonna, you can see there's like one little section of two sections and then the overhead. That'll help you kind of break it up. So again, watch the way the flow is from the overhead strike. Goes boom, 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 and then the overhead. Okay, uh, this next move we're going to go into is one of my favorites, but we'll save that for next time. Thank you very much.